Welcome to Le Mans Ultimate here at Formula 7 Racing. We are live. Here we go for our LMU GT3. Maximilian is our first driver out on track here in Portugal at the Algarve circuit. I do need to get this track map up. I don't think I've ever commentated on an Algarve race circuit. So do bear with me. I don't know if the track has got any names, but we'll just run with this. Brilliant. How are we all doing? So we are on board with Maximilian as we head in towards turn 11 and then down in towards turn 12 at the bottom of the hill. Is it Portimao? It's Portimao! Oh, it's not Algarve. Here we go. That's what I'm talking about. So, on board with the Maximilian, we have 16 drivers on track currently at the moment for our GT3 series here at F7 Racing. A massive race is going to get underway here this evening. I cannot wait for it. For some reason, it's not showing the full grid on the overlays, so do bear with me because it should be showing the full grid. So let me see what I can do. Is it? It's not for any reason, is it? Can I stretch out? No. So it must only show that many. It shouldn't do that, which is strange. Unless I press that and try and stretch it down. Strange. Very strange. So I do apologise, guys, bear with me. I don't know why it's not showing the full, but there is 16 drivers. There is still a few issues with it. It is a big update. So Maximilian just coming around the final corner. He is flat out here through the right-hander, and Arnie Brandhurst is just behind him in that Porsche as we head up towards the line. And it is going to be a 1:46.9 from Maximilian, but Arnie Brandhurst a 1:46.0, 9 tenths quicker. But we've got a lot of drivers coming to the grid. Alexander Lola, Dennis Funke, our champion in the multi-class event for the GT3 series, going into P3. Rock Stojnek into P5 as he slides in that Lexus around turn 1. Thomas Buter in the M4 going up to P4. So Borden in that Ferrari going P6. And you've got Maximilian Zwergel and Maximilian Schwimp. I hope I'm pronouncing them right. I do apologise if not. We've got two Maximilians. Elliot Lewis, I've seen him in practice. He looks very hot. And he is currently P10. Ben Hornby, that is Aspect. Thomas in P11. Then Matto Gubro here with a beautiful livery on that Ferrari. Currently in P12. Marcel Mulich in P13. Arthur Woods out on track in that M4. Ivan Stefanov. Dan Quinn, one of the 16 drivers on the track today. So, Fisher. What's going on, Andy? How we doing? Max is Virgil. So, big race. I will try and get the whole... Sorry, guys. I'm hoping that might have sorted it. Sorry, guys. Got something stuck in my throat. There we go, I've done it, and we've already got some battling here in qualifying. The overlay is done. I tell you what, just a bit of perseverance. The BMW and the Porsche are already racing here in Portugal. And with that Brazilian livery is Dan Quinn. We know he likes the M4. With that Brazilian theme, the Porsche behind him. You've also got Mato Gubro, Elliot Lewis. Rock Stojnek is improving as he comes down towards turn 12. Full throttle through there, back onto the brake pedal, hugging the apex around turn 13. He's got a little bit of traffic in front of him, potentially will help Rock out as he comes around turn 14. 2.5 seconds up. This will put him around P5, P6 if he can continue to improve around turn 15 and 16, and then it's a straight run up to the line for Rock Stojnek in the Lexus, slipstreaming that M4 all the way down towards the checkered flag. 2.5 up as he goes into P6 here in Portugal. Dennis Funke in the other Lexus, Maximilian Zergel in that purple Lexus, a beautiful livery, standing out, low to the floor, smashing over the apex. He's currently in P3. Marcel Mulich in the Porsche with a very similar livery to Maximilian Zergel. I think they are running identical liveries. Round he goes. A very nice livery from Fisher, Arnie Broadhurst. You know, Marcel, Arnie and Maximilian Zergel are all running the same liveries. Incredible stuff. So, these definitely mean business as Marcel Mulich leads as we come around turn 14. Arnie Brandhurst just slightly in front. He is 8 tenths up on his lap time at the moment. He will be looking to get even quicker as we come around turn 15, around turn 16. The Porsche driver, full throttle. Oh, he runs wide. Will that compromise him? He's still 8 tenths up as he peels off into the pit lane. Maximilian Zwergel and Marcel Mulich slowing down on the pit wall. Maximilian Schripp in the Ferrari, currently down 1.2. Dennis Funke about to start a lap. Rod Stocknet is improving. I think the timings are currently broke in the top right. Dan Quinn nearly a tenth up as he comes around turn 7 through the right hand. He slides into the gravel. Dan Quinn, who is currently P7, drifts it into the dirt, throwing it up in the air and back into the pit lane. Arthur Woods, we know he likes an M4. He likes the feel of the car with that Williams Allianz livery. Alexander Lawler in that red and white BMW Ducky Duckster with the M4 as well. But he has gone for that purple livery with the slight monster logos on it. Ben Hornby in the white and yellow Porsche with that pure racing logo on the side of it. Soul in the Ferrari, a beautiful silver with a dash of red on it. Thomas Buter, we know, likes the hypercars. Elliot Lewis, we've seen him in practice. He looks good. He's in that red and black McLaren. around turn 15 and 16 with that Dave's Academy on the front bonnet as we come around. He's 5.7 up. This is what Elliot Lewis was looking for. We've seen him in practice. He looks very good. Down to the checkered flag. Down the pit lane we go. Elliot Lewis goes up to P6. This is looking very competitive indeed. But at the moment, 9 tenths separate the top 6 drivers. Dennis Funky went up to P2 in the Lexus. Just what we were waiting to see. So remember, this is round 2 here in Portugal, in Algarve. So Marcel Mulich will go for another lap. No, he just wiggles there. He says, I'm not going for it just yet. Arnie Brandhurst, sorry. Maximilian Zergel. And the other Maximilian driver in the Ferrari. Currently down, Elliot Lewis. Then you've got Rock Stojnek, Dan Quinn, Arthur Woods. Alexander Lawler is slightly in the green as you come down in towards turn 8 at the left-handed hairpin. Yes, Aspect. Ben Hornby currently in the pit lane, but we are on board with Alexander Lawler. He's 1.5 tenths up as he comes around turn 10 and turn 9 and 10. Dead kill shot. We've done LMU for a few months now. So in towards turn 11 for the BMW driver. He's 2 tenths up. He comes down the hill. The Porsche pulls onto the track. Smashes into the BMW. He is still tinkering into the green. But now he falls down into the red. He might still get a decent lap on. But the Porsche did not see him coming. It's compromised his lap. And Alexander Lawler, with the lawless driver in front of him, will be fuming. So Ducky Duckster will be going for another lap. Ben Hornby in the Porsche. Sol Borden and Thomas Buter in the BMW. Ivan Stefanov peeling off into the pit lane. Mato Gubro with probably my favourite livery. Well, either that or the 3 drivers that are running similar liveries. Down the inside goes the BMW. Very nicely done. So Marcel Mulich with one of my other favourite liveries this evening. Looking very nice through the right-hander. Dennis Funky, remember, our champion of the multi-class. Oh, dead kill shot. You're in the right place, man. We're running weekly multi-class racing now and fortnightly GT3 racing. So Dennis Funky will go for another lap, but he's got a few decent drivers to contend with who are running similar liveries. You've got Arnie Brandhurst and Marcel Mulich, also Maximilian Zwergel, who is half a second down, all running that Fisher livery. Maximilian Schimp, and that is Elliot Lewis. What a lap from the McLaren driver. He goes up to P4. So a great lap from him. 2 tenths separate the top 2 with 5 minutes of qualifying remaining. What about Mato Gubro? He's 3.5 tenths up as he comes around turn 13 and 14. Then it's a slight dip into the right-hander and then the huge run up towards the line. Here in Algarve, there we go. The elevations are absolutely stunning around this Portuguese circuit. I always say the favourite people in the world come from Portugal. You will never meet a nasty Portuguese person, ever. They are always so polite, so respectful, amazing human beings. Portugal is such a fantastic country, and they are built on respect and honour, and you will see that around this circuit with these people. So Ivan Stefanov going out. Thomas Buter in that BMW. Sol in the pit lane. Ben Hornby, that is Thomas Aspect coming through turn 9. Ducky Duckster. Soul says he's not got a setup. Alexander Lawler is 4 tenths up. He's not going to be hindered by a Porsche this time. So we'll stay on board with Alexander Lawler with 4.5 minutes to go. I've not dealt with many San Marino's people, to be honest, Trubo. You're the only person I've ever dealt with who's from San Marino. I just know every single Portuguese person I've ever dealt with has just been amazing. Or ever spoken to. So Alexander Lawler, 2 tenths up as he comes around turn 11. He'll take that dip into the road. He nearly loses the race. He holds on, but that will ruin his chances of bidding for that pole position. What about Arthur Woods? He's slightly in the red. Dan Quinn. What a camera angle that is. So, Rock Stosnek. And Marcel Mulich to the line. Dennis Funky still in the pit lane. Arnie Branders not improving. Here comes Elliot Lewis up the hill towards turn 11. So, Marcel Mulich still leading by half a second to Dennis Funky, who's in the pit lane. Arnie Broadhurst is 1.7 up, surely. He's not going to take it off. Marcel Mulich as he goes up towards turn 10, around the right-hander. He takes that wider line, a beautiful entrance into that chicane. As we go in towards turn 13 at the left-hander, just hugging the apex, making sure he gets on the exit, up to third, back down into second as we go through turn 14. Then he's back onto the throttle, being careful not to overdo it, into third, into fourth, 110 miles per hour. Then we go over the hill, down, just eases off, up to fifth, and then it is pedal to the metal as we come around turn 15 and up towards the line we go. Here we go for Arnie Brandhurst. Is he going to take provisional pole? Arnie Brandhurst goes P2, half a second behind Marcel Mulich here in Algarve. Dennis Funky still in the pit lane. Elliot Lewis, we've seen him in practice. He looked very on the form, on the ball. Here we go, the McLaren out of the final chicane and up towards the line. And he is not going to improve. Can he get another lap in with 40 seconds remaining? Maximilian Zergel is in the pit lane. Maximilian Schimp is 1.2 up. Around turn 15, will this put him on pole position? Here we go, you can see him tinkering on pole position here. Maximilian in the Ferrari, down towards the line. Can he beat Marcel Mulich to the checkered flag? Maximilian stays P6. He did improve by a second. He's going to have to find a little bit more here in Portugal. Dan Quinn still in the pit lane. Rock Stoisnek also not going to be able to improve. You've got Thomas Aspect out on track. Arthur Woods might find himself deep in the mud here. He is not finding that time that he wanted. Alexander Lawler is not going to be able to improve. Neither is Thomas Buter. Ducky Duckster is 7 tenths down. Sol Borden, who said he didn't have a setup. Ivan Stefanov is trying to improve in that Porsche as he comes out the final corner and peels off into the pit lane. Mato Gubro down in P16, but it is Marcel Mulic who waits in the pit lane with anticipation to see if he has taken pole position here in Portugal for round 2. Elliot Lewis losing the race. A huge snap out of turn 13, and that is all she wrote. Maximilian Zergel is into the pit lane. Dan Quinn also. Rok Stojnek, I think that is it. Marcel Mulic, I think, has taken pole position. Let's have a look at Ducky Duckster. He's not improving. The number 9 car of Thomas is currently setting green sectors. But is it going to be enough to improve his overall lap time? Around turn 15 and down towards the line. Thomas Varkish to the checkered flag we go. And he will stay where he is in P9. So, a great qualifying session. Sorry, I was just checking the audio, making sure that everything's okay before we get going in the race. So, it is Marcel Mulic that takes pole position here for round 2. Arnie Brandhurst taking P2 and will start on the front row with him. Dennis Funky, our multi-class GT3 champion, in P3. Elliot Lewis in P4. Maximilian Zergel in P5. Maximilian Schimp in P6. Dan Quinn in P7. And Rok Stojnek in P8. I know I'm pronouncing that slightly wrong, but I will get to grips with it.
Teams and drivers go to the grid for a race start.
So, all of the drivers getting ready to go to the grid. Remember, it is starting at night time and it moves to daytime quite quickly. So, it is 4 AM here. 4 AM start time. How are we doing, Ben? You okay, mate? This should be an absolute cracker. We know everybody is absolutely loving Le Mans at the moment, and so are we. Me and Ben have been running Formula 7 racing now for about 5 years. We started 6 years ago. And we have done everything and anything to make the best F1 league possible. We've done a great job together. We've built it to the size it is today. And we wanted to venture into Le Mans and Assetto Corsa. And luckily for us, we've got an amazing community. And you guys have been nothing but supportive. So I'm glad we're able to put on the shows that we're able to put on for you guys. And give you guys a place to race. So here we go, all the drivers are getting ready. 16 GT3 drivers on the grid here for round 2 in Portugal for the Algarve Grand Prix. Is Theo Townland in? He's not. So yeah, Mato Gubro is the final of the 16 drivers. So here we go.
Formation lap.
Look at that, I love them liveries. One yellow, one red with the slight trim. It's amazing stuff. And then you've got our GT3 multi-class champion of Dennis Funky in P3. This is going to be a crazy race. The podcast is coming soon, Ben. You're absolutely right. So here we go. It's 4 AM here in Portugal for the start of this Grand Prix. I'm excited. Are you guys excited? Marcel Mulic will get us underway. You can see the driver behind, the Porsche driver easing up the hill. As you can see the stars in the sky, it is in dreamland for Marcel Mulic here. And he will definitely be seeing stars at the end of this Grand Prix if it goes the way he wants. So up towards the line for round 2 here in Formula 7 racing for our Le Mans Ultimate Series 1 round 2. It is green flag and away we go down towards turn 1. We'll come down the hill. Here comes Arnie Brandhurst fighting with a very similar car. The two Porsche drivers in towards turn 2. Here comes Maximilian Zergel with Dennis Funke. Dennis Funke being overtaken as he gets overtaken by Maximilian Schimp, but back down the inside he goes. And the Ferrari goes deep and back through goes Dennis Funke in that Lexus, wheel to wheel once again as we go in towards turn 4 and down towards turn 5 at the hairpin. They are 3 wide. Here comes Elliot Lewis in that McLaren. He will go down the inside of turn 5 on that Ferrari. He just eases through. Can he get the better exit? He absolutely can, and now he is in front of Maximilian Schimp, who chases him down. Arthur Woods getting a front row seat to this interesting battle in front. Rock Stojnek settling in for P11 as he goes late on the brakes. Alexander Lawler is still there. The driver's doing a fantastic job of getting underway here in Algarve. A little mistake. Ivan Stefanov is just behind. Here comes Ducky Duckster. So the driver's extremely close. Here comes Maximilian Zergel on Arnie Brandhurst. They are all running identical liveries. 2 of them are in a Porsche, 1 is in an M4. They are 2.6 clear of Dennis Funke, who's in a battle of his own. Here comes Thomas Varkic down the inside of Arthur Woods. Wheel to wheel goes Thomas Varkic. Can Arthur Woods respond? He can. He gets his foot down. He'll go late on the brakes as we come through turn 13 and 14, and it is the M4 that comes out on top. But what about Dan Quinn onto the throttle? He sees an opportunity open up in front of him. Dan Quinn in the other M4 goes side by side with Thomas Varkic. He'll have the inside in towards turn 1, but it's Thomas that goes later on the brakes. He runs a little bit wide, but he's got his nose ahead, and Thomas is just about back in front, and they are now attacking Arthur Woods in front. These two nearly locking wheels, but Thomas stays in front. That is a crazy battle. Phenomenal racing here in Algarve. It is Marcel Mulich who still leads to Arnie Brandhurst, Maximilian Zergel in P3. We do have Thomas Aspect chasing down Arthur Woods. He was so close to getting through, but he just had to hold on. Here comes Thomas Buter on Maximilian Schimp, and he gets the move done. Thomas Buter is through and up to P9. What a move. We can have a look at the grid progress of these drivers. And look at this, that is Thomas Varkic just flashing away. I think that was actually Dan Quinn on the back of him. So you can see the progress of these drivers and the positions they have made up. We'll go back to the gaps. And here comes Maximilian Zergel on Arnie Brandhurst out of turn 15. And it's a sprint race down the pit lane. And he will pick up a little bit more speed as Arnie Brandhurst just breaks the air in front of him. Is he going to look for a move up the inside? He doesn't, but he goes later on the brakes. Nearly touches the back of the Porsche driver. He does well to get that car to a halt. Here comes Dan Quinn again up the inside, and he's round. Dan Quinn in the M4 is round. He does a little drift and a 360, and he's back on track. Very nicely done by Dan Quinn. Here comes Maximilian in the Ferrari, trying to make a move on that BMW, and here comes the red and white M4 as they go 3 wide heading in towards turn 5, and it's the last of the late breakers. Maximilian with a once-in-a-million late lunge up the inside, and he made it work. An impressive overtake from Maximilian. What about Thomas Buter? He will be giving that the seal of approval inside that visor. He will know a good move when he sees one, and he'll be very impressed with that one. That is a yellow flag. A yellow flag being waved. One of the drivers, that is the number 12 car, is Alexander Lawler. That is round. Yellow flag. So, good racing. But he is round. Remember, the sun will rise shortly. So that is the BMW driver just running a little bit wide there. Here comes Maximilian Zergel and Arnie Brandhurst. They are 1.2 behind Marcel Mulich. But I tell you what, Dennis Funky is starting to find his rhythm. Call him Mr. Funky. And Elliot Lewis is staying with him. You've got Ducky Duckster, Alexander Lawler, Ivan Stefanov. You've got Mato Gubro. He's having a good battle with Ivan Stefanov. You've got Sol, who's out of this race already. Real shame for him. We've seen some outstanding racing already. What about Elliot Lewis and Dennis Funky? As they chase each other down, the race has sort of been neutralised at the moment, which is good. We can take a breather. The drivers can just sort of get to grips and start sort of calming down a little bit, which is what the drivers need to do in situations like this. Ducky Duckster chasing down Thomas Buter. Remember, it is only a night race at the start of the race. It will be turning light shortly. Elliot Lewis on Dennis Funky. They're now 3.6 behind Maximilian Zergel. So it's just not working out for them. You got Mato Gubro on the back of Ivan Stefanov. So we can see Maximilian on the back of Thomas. This is a battle for P7 and P8. Oh, he goes a huge lunge up the inside. But I think Thomas read it. Oh, they touch. He tried to get the better exit after that lunge. Here we go. Once again, side by side, go these two drivers dueling for track position. And Thomas gives him a nudge up the inside. Maximilian Schimp is off the track and into the gravel. He will not be happy about that one. Thomas Varkis giving him a little bump up the inside, and off the track he went. He might get penalised for that. So, Ducky Duckster only 3 tenths behind Thomas Buter. Maximilian Zergel in P3. All 3 drivers running the same liveries. 1, 2, 3 after 10 minutes of racing. Elliot Lewis still tracking on the back of Dennis Funky. Maximilian Schimp did not lose position, but he did lose 2.5 seconds to Thomas Varkis in front. I will just turn my microphone up a little bit. Here we go. So the drivers, 6 tenths is they got Maximilian Zergel on the back of Arnie Brandhurst. And as you can see, the 4 drivers, wow, they must have had a mistake somewhere, because Dennis Funky and Elliot Lewis are within touching distance of Maximilian Zergel and Arnie Brandhurst. So, interesting stuff we've got here. Obviously, Ducky Duckster chasing down Thomas Buter as they go in towards turn 5. Who's going to get the better exit? Both of them riding in them M4s. But it's the number 7 car of Thomas Buter that just stays ahead for now. Here comes Ducky, though. Up the inside. Is he going to try it? He is going to try it. But he just thinks better of it. Backs out at the last minute. And Thomas Buter lives to fight another day here. What about Elliot Lewis? He has been tracking on the back of Dennis Funky from the minute go here in Algarve. And these drivers giving us a lot of action here in Portugal. So here comes Elliot Lewis. Only 2 tenths behind Dennis Funky going down in towards turn 1. Once again, he's not close enough to go for the move. You can see Elliot, he's so eager to get through. Every time they go into the corners, he has a look up the inside. What about Rostosnek on Alexander Lola? Into the slipstream. And the Lexus driver is going to look for a way through in towards turn 1. Over the apex, the BMW runs wide. But the Lexus doesn't capitalise. Here he comes around the outside. Later on the brakes goes Rostosnek. Side by side go the 2 sim drivers. It is the M4 that stays ahead into P11 for now. They come out of turn 4, down the long straight towards the hairpin. Still Maximilian Zergel on Arnie Brandhurst. As we come down in towards turn 12. Look how close these 2 drivers are now. 2 tenths of a second. Maximilian Zergel on Arnie Brandhurst. I think it's Brandhorst, sorry. And Arnie Brandhorst has been able to hold on for this long. Can he continue that in P2? Just easing off that brake. As we go around turn 3, Elliot Lewis and Dennis Funky watching on from behind. Here comes Thomas Aspect up the inside and Maximilian Schimp. These 2 have gone at it a few times. It gives him the old flash of the headlights. These 2 are not getting along at all here. It should be daylight shortly. There's some real good battles going on track. I think the most feisty one is obviously Maximilian on Thomas Varkish. As we go through turn 12 and up towards turn 13. Wow, Maximilian held on to that really well. That was so close to spinning around. Mato Gubro still cracking on behind Ivan Stefanov. You're never going to get better unless you keep carrying on, and Mato Gubro is prime example of that. He will just continue until there's no possible way. And I do like that. I like the commitment. And look at this from Maximilian Zergel on the back of Arnie Brandhorst. But I tell you what, Marcel Mulich is 5 seconds clear of the rest of the pack. And this might be the opportunity that Maximilian Zergel was waiting for. Can he get the better exit out of turn 5? They are so close in pace that it's really difficult to get any sort of advantage. Oh, he's made a mistake. Is that the opportunity he was waiting for? Here comes Maximilian Zergel down in towards turn 5. Yeah, sorry, up towards turn 11. And still, even with that slight mistake, Arnie just holds on. Ducky Duckster still trying to make his attempt at an overtake on the back of Thomas Buter for P9. And then we've got Rock Stoshnek chasing down Alexander Lawler in P11. Mato Gubro, he's already pitted though, so don't count him out. Yeah, oh no, Mato Gubro is round. The commentator's curse strikes again here in Algarve. What about Ducky Duckster? As you can see, it's starting to brighten up in the distance. The stars are still out though, but it will be daytime shortly. Elliot Lewis, Dennis Funky, Maximilian Zergel on the back of Arnie in that Porsche. So out of turn 4 and we head towards turn 5 into the slipstream. Goes Maximilian. There's 2 Maximilians, so I do apologise if you're getting confused, because here's the other Maximilian Shim, and that is Rock Stoshnek. That is through as Alexander Lawler has made a mistake and tumbles off into the gravel. He does a bit of Tokyo drifting as he comes out of turn 1 and back onto the track, and that is Dan Quinn that can now see him in the distance. So the drivers now struggling. Six seconds clear is Marcel Mulich in the lead of this Grand Prix. You can see the virtual energy tank of the drivers. And we can see the grid progress as well. You can see the positions made up. Maximilian Zergel 2 attempts behind Arnie Brandhorst. But every time he comes, he's not able to get past. He is closer than he's ever been here as we head in towards turn 1, but he backs out again. Maximilian Zergel being very cautious here, maybe the best way to drive. Oh, and he smashes into the back of Arnie. And now he goes up the inside, side by side. Finally, go Arnie and Maximilian. But it's the Porsche that stays in front. And here comes Dennis Funky. He wants an opportunity of these two. The Lexus driver, as we head in towards the hairpin at turn 5. Back down the inside goes Maximilian Zergel. And he is through and up to P2. What a move from the other Lexus driver. The Porsche will come back. They'll fight it out. Going in towards turn 7. Back down the inside goes the Porsche driver. And Arnie Brandhorst was not behind for long. A great exchange of racing here in Algarve. We are going to be having live stewarding salute, but we don't have anybody that does it yet. Well, I did it actually for the multi-class event on Monday. I was live stewarding at the same time as doing commentary. So, a good exchange between second and third. And I tell you, Dennis Funky was very close to getting the move done. Here comes Maximilian. being overtaken by Rock Stojnek for P9, and Rock is through and up to P9. So a good move from the Lexus, but he's got to keep hold of it now as he comes out of turn 14. Down the pit straight, Maximilian Schimp will look to the left-hand side. Here he comes. Wow, that was close. Maximilian goes back through on Rock Stojnek in towards turn 1. And the Ferrari returns back to his original position. Rock lost quite a bit of time there. 1.3 seconds Rock Stojnek lost there. Ah, nice one, Salute. Appreciate it, mate. So, Thomas Varkish is out. Ivan Stefanov carries on. Remember, points down to P15. "21 minutes of this race done, and still it is so action-packed. It is brilliant. But I am surprised that it's not daytime yet, and it doesn't even look close to getting daytime. But it should be. I'm wondering if I've done the settings right, to be honest with you. So, Ducky Duckster on the back of Thomas Buter. Look how much them wheels are heating up, well, the brake pads. We can see them just glowing up. So here comes Maximilian Zergel. Only 1/10 is the gap. They've got a back marker in front of him as he just gets out of the way. Fair play to him. And Arnie once again able to stay ahead and defend his position. Dennis Funky and Elliot Lewis just staying where they are momentarily. Ivan Stefanov just getting out of the way then, and then you've got Dan Quinn. He's only 2 seconds behind Alexander Lola, you can see in the distance. What about Rock Stojnek, who got overtaken by Maximilian for P9. Then you've got Ducky Duckster on the back of Thomas Buter. A lot of good racing going on here, there really is. It's what we want to see. I was hoping that the daytime would rise a lot earlier than this. I was just hoping for like 10 or 15 minutes of night racing. I think I might have messed up with the timings. It's supposed to be on 7 times speed at 4 AM. So Ducky Duckster on Thomas Buter heading in towards turn 1. Oh, when he lifted off the brake there, Thomas Buter. And there might be a couple of drivers waiting to get through. And that is Maximilian and Rock Stojnek, who is caught up to Ducky Duckster and Thomas Buter. Look at this 4-car battle now as we head down in towards turn 5. And this should make for interesting racing. We are riding on board with Maximilian, who's got Ducky in front and Rock behind. A Ferrari driver in the middle of a load of BMWs. And who is going to come out on top? These drivers have done a tremendous job so far of keeping it clean and racing very nicely. Will Maximilian go for one of them iconic late lunges that he likes to do. It's great racing from him though. He always tries to keep it clean and give the space. He sees the gap. Very much Ayrton Senna-esque. Around turn 13 and then back down the hill we go. As I said, the elevations around this Portuguese circuit are iconic as we go over the hump and back down the hill. As you can see, the Ferrari just bouncing around, but he'll get the slipstream, and Rok Stojnek is also closing the gap. There's a huge train as we go down in towards turn 1. Are any of the drivers close enough to make a move? They are not. So they'll stay in position, but every time Thomas Buter goes in towards turn 1, he runs wide. Ducky Duckster is off the track, and through goes Maximilian Schimp. He got the move done, and the Ferrari is up to P8. Just one more in front of him of Thomas Buter. I was just saying Thomas Buter brakes quite early going in towards turn 1, and it sort of caught Ducky Duckster off guard there, and it slipped him off the track, and through went Maximilian, and up to P8 he went. So what about Maximilian Zergel? You are reading that right. We do have 2 Maximilians. We'll call him one Maxi and one Maximilian. So we'll call Maximilian Zergel and Maxi Schimp. So here comes Maximilian again. Oh, and that is Dennis Funky peeling off into the pit lane. He's going for the undercut here as he slides into the pit lane. What about Arthur Woods? He's sort of in no man's land at the moment. Here comes Maxi in that Ferrari. He's already overtaken 2 of these BMW drivers. He's got 1 more on his hit list, and they are starting to peel off a little bit. 7 tenths in front of Rok Stojnek behind, who has got the overtake on Ducky Duckster. We missed that. We do apologise. So he is through. And now here comes Maxi on Thomas Buter, and he is through. No, sorry, they've gone through on Dennis Funky, who's into the pit lane. So Maxi stays where he is at the moment. He's flashing Thomas Buter, trying to just put him off, trying to pile on the pressure. And when you do that, you can put a driver off. And that's what they're intending to do. They want them to look at something else. They want them to look in the mirror instead of looking at the track in front of them. Is he going to go for that late lunge in towards turn 5? He doesn't. He's going to go around the outside. Surely not. Here comes Maxi around the outside of Thomas Buter. Thomas defends. Great defensive IQ racing from Thomas Buter. But Maxi giving him a lot to think about here. Maximilian on Arnie, still waiting to get through. Elliot Lewis 1.2 behind. Here comes Maxi on Rok. Rok got through Rok Stojnek. So Maxi must have made a mistake. They're side by side they go. The Lexus and the Ferrari. And it's the Lexus that pulls back. And through goes the Ferrari once more. Maxi back in front of Rok as we head down in towards turn 12. It is action-packed here in Portugal. Back up the inside goes Rok Stojnek. He gets left the room. But it's Maximilian Schimp that is holding on here. Oh, when they do touch, that is very close. And whilst all of this is going on, Thomas Buter being given a little bit of breathing room. Just what he was hoping for after all of that pressure. Will anybody else peel off into the pit lane? Not just yet. They are really enjoying this battle. They're not going to get out of it just yet. Here comes Rok Stojnek on Maxi as we head down in towards turn 1. He gets into the slipstream and then moves into the inside line as we go in towards turn 1. He eases onto the brake pedal and back through goes Maxi. There's Thomas Buter going through on the Porsche driver of Ivan Stefanov, who just gets out of the way. Fair play to him after being shown them blue flags. But he is now in front of Ducky Duckster, I think that was. It was, and Rok Stojnek, who have lost 2 seconds to Maxi and Thomas Buter. So not all is well at the front here. So around turn 13 and 14 we go. Thomas Buter has been holding off Maxi for quite a while. Is he going to be able to hold him off for much longer? Right on the tail of the M4. Here comes the Ferrari, practically pushing him through as Thomas Buter weaves left and right. Maxi holding on to position. He's waiting to get through. It's so close as he comes through turn 2 and 3. Back onto the brake pedal and through goes Maxi. A little snap as he heads out of turn 3 and it might give an opportunity back to Thomas Buter. It does. Maxi is off the track and now here comes Ducky Duckster. Thomas Buter doing everything he can to stay in position. And what a job he's doing. Great racing. And look at Maximilian Zergel on Arnie Brandhorst. They are 10 seconds away from Marcel Mulich, who is absolute dominant here in round 2. So the sun is starting to rise now finally. So the sun is rising and so is Maxi. So we're going to end in the morning. Later on the brakes goes Maxi. He's getting very close. This is what we came to see, ladies and gentlemen. Up the inside goes Maxi. He's through. What an overtake from Maxi. Nothing Thomas Buter could do about that one, and now here comes Ducky Duckster as well. Surely he's not going to lose 2 positions after holding on to 1 for so long. Back down the inside of turn 5. Later on the brakes goes Ducky and through on Thomas Buter. So Thomas now starting to lose a little bit of time. Maybe the tyres kicking in. And through goes Ducky on Maxi. Maxi has made a mistake and back through goes Thomas Buter. All of that effort undone and no, my God. He holds on. That is incredible from Maxi. Any other driver and they're into the gravel, but not Maximilian Schimp. Yeah, MB, it looks it's working pretty good, to be honest, mate. It started working yesterday when on Wednesday night, right at the end of the MSC race. So Maximilian Zergel on the back of Arnie Brandhorst. I cannot believe after all of that work that Maxi Schimp put in, he made one slight mistake and Thomas Buter was back through. Remember, some of these drivers have still not pitted. Remember, we are here for round 2 for the Portuguese Grand Prix here in Algarve. So some great racing that we have seen here today, and the sun has now risen over this amazing circuit, and finally we're going to get some daytime racing. So 3 tenths is the gap for Maximilian on Arnie. the Porsche on the Lexus, and you can still see Elliot Lewis is there, you know. He looked very quick in practice. And Dennis Funky, remember, he went for an early stop here. So do not count him out just yet in that Lexus. He's just plotting away at the back. You've got Dan Quinn, who's in the pit lane. Rok Stojnek as well, still carrying on. Ivan Stefanov in that Porsche. 13 drivers still continuing to race with 24 minutes to go. And now you'll get a real good look at these beautiful liveries. I think these liveries are made by somebody that wanted to do some liveries for us and wanted to do some kind of partnership. So I'm guessing these are the liveries that he was talking about. There's 3 of them running the liveries. And they are very nice. So Maximilian Schim in the Ferrari on the back of that BMW. And look at Ducky in the background. He's fighting with Dan Quinn here. This is not a battle that I thought we was going to see today, but it's a battle we're certainly getting. And Dan Quinn, not too fussed about giving him a bit of a race here. Here comes Maxi. And there he goes down the inside. And Thomas Buter once again being overtaken by that pesky Ferrari. As we head down in towards turn 10 and slightly uphill towards 11. As we ride on board with Thomas Buter. Through the right-hander at 11 and then back down the hill. You can see when you're riding on board with these drivers, you can see the elevations of the circuit. And they're absolutely stunning. Down into first gear, around there at around 45 miles per hour, back up to second and third. Through the right-hander, and you can see he's just tracking these drivers in front. Thomas Buter, we've seen him racing the hypercar earlier in the week. Now he's in the GT3 car. And we've seen him defend quite well in both of them Grand Prix. So maybe something to watch out for next series for Thomas Buter. He's definitely got the minerals to be a championship contender, especially with the race IQ that he's got. Oh, look at this. Wow, Maximilian Zergel and Arnie Brandhorst giving us a great little tussle. And Elliot Lewis having a front row seat to this. So around turn 13 and 14 we go. That McLaren just clinging on to the front two. Marcel Mulich 12 seconds ahead of everybody else. So down the pit straight towards turn 1. Oh, and that was Elliot looking for a little cheeky overtake there. I like it. Tell you, I'm glad we've got the sunshine back now. Remember, F7R, the home of sim racing. F1, Assetto Corsa and Le Mans Ultimate. What you are witnessing and watching right now. We have our multi-class events starting. Our weekly multi-class. We already race multi-class, but we've got weekly multi-class racing every single Monday. Fortnightly is GT3 on Assetto Corsa and Le Mans Ultimate. But look at this for a battle. We've got Maximilian Zergel practically pushing Arnie Brandhorst right through the middle sector. In towards turn 11 we go. And down in towards turn 12. He's getting ever so closer. Them tyres, 22% left on them. Around turn 12 and up towards 13. That Porsche driver seems to be struggling a little bit more than that Lexus. And Elliot Lewis doing a great job just staying with them. Around turn 13 and 14 we go. 20 minutes left in this race. 40 done and dusted. Out of turn 14 and then down the pitch straight. He'll get into the slipstream of that Porsche. Here comes Alexis. 2.5 tenths behind. We ride on board, but he's not going to be close enough to make a move. And we know he doesn't take the risky opportunities that some of the other drivers have taken this evening. Maximilian Schimp half a second behind Ducky Duckster. They're stuck behind Dan Quinn, who's just happy to be there and having a battle of his own at the moment. I do like it. So, I'm riding on board with Maximilian. Is he going to make this move on Ducky Duckster? Out of turn 13. Here we go. And he is very close here now. Maximilian Schimp. No, he's just not got that straight line speed. What about Maximilian Zergel? This could be the opportunity that he's been waiting for to take P2 away from Arnie. No, not again. He must be getting a little bit frustrated. It's tireless effort, this. With 18 minutes to go. Just a quick look at our calendar. If you are looking to join our GT3 series, our calendar for the remainder of this Series 1. We have Portugal, which you are watching right now. We have Bahrain in 2 weeks, Italy in 4 weeks, France in 6 weeks, and Belgium in 8 weeks. Here we go. And he moves over to the right hand side, but he's just not close enough, and that is the Porsche driver of Ivan Stefanov that will just step out of the way. Very nicely done from the Porsche. So Ducky being overtaken by Maximilian. Just a little bit of appreciation here though for Marcel Mulich. Absolutely phenomenal. 17 minutes of this race remaining and he has been brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. He really has. So I am wondering where, because Dennis Funky, remember Dennis is pitted, there's 16.5 minutes to go. I'm wondering where Dennis comes out in all of this battle when the front four go into the pit lane. Maybe even Arthur Woods as well. He's been pretty much racing in no man's land for the whole of this race. He's 14 seconds clear of the driver behind. He's 35 seconds behind the driver in front. He is literally just racing in no man's land. And that can be harder than being in a battle sometimes. It's mentally draining. It's tireless. It's the concentration that you've got to have for the majority of the race. So hats off to Arthur Woods here because he's doing a phenomenal job. Ducky Duckster losing time to Maximilian Schimp, who is on the back of Dan Quinn. And I tell you, Dan will not just be gifting them the way through. He will be putting up a fight of his own. And Maximilian is going to have to do this the hard way. Here comes the Lexus once more. They're currently in P2 and P3. And they will make the move. As the back marker just stepping out of the way. Heading towards turn 12 once again. This really has been a very enjoyable race. I hope you guys have enjoyed it as much as I've enjoyed it. So down towards turn 12 at the left-hander. And every time he goes the same way, he goes to the outside line, but Arnie's so good on the exit of the chicane. but he's just never close enough. I do love what we are witnessing here. Oh, and he peels off into the pit lane. There we go. Is that the undercut from Maximilian Zergel? Elliot Lewis already pitted, so is he going to come out in front of Maximilian? This is very interesting. Here we go. This is what we've been waiting for. Elliot Lewis is coming around turn 11. He's got Arthur Woods 1 second behind him. Oh no, sorry, he's coming out of turn 12 and 13 in towards turn 14. I tell you what, Elliot Lewis could potentially come out in front of Maximilian Zergel. This is going to be very close. Down the pitch straight goes Elliot now. Maximilian Zergel is coming out of the pit lane. This is going to be extremely tight, but I think Maximilian Zergel is going to do enough to stay ahead. Elliot Lewis will have the heat into them tyres, but he does come out behind the Lexus driver. The McLaren, he tried it. It did not pay off this time around. And how has Dennis Funky ended up where he is? Something else must have happened to him. He is our GT3 multi-class champion, and we know he's got the pace to compete at the front. So Arnie Brandhorst still has to pit. Here comes Ducky Duckster, and they are fighting out of the pit lane. Very close here, the two drivers. Maximilian Schimp on Ducky Duckster, down in towards turn 1. What about Thomas Buter? No, he's nowhere near it this time. A really good race that we have watched here. Oh, that was a little mistake there from Ducky. That is a very nice livery that Ducky is running there, and that is the 4th car that is running the purple livery. Marcel Mulich being one of them, who's catching up to Ducky. And then Arnie and Maximilian Zergel, or Virgil, all running the similar purple liveries. Elliot Lewis only a second behind. I am wondering what the strategy is here for Arnie. You can see Arthur Woods just in the distance behind. Remember, this is only round 2, and we still have a lot of seats to be filled in this series. So if you are looking to race here in Le Mans Ultimate, you are in the right place. Our next event is in 2 weeks' time, but our next multi-class event is only in a week. And then after that event, it is every single week. We have a multi-class event every Monday. 33 drivers already signed up, only 5 seats left. So you need to be quick to get in. That is very popular, very in demand at the moment. So here comes Arnie on at the back of Marcel. Wait, Arnie's in the pit lane. What's going on here? Marcel and Arnie have come in, but Marcel has lost a tremendous amount of time. Here comes Maximilian Virgil and Elliot Lewis. Arnie Brandhorst is coming out of the pit lane, and he is going to come out in front of Maximilian and Elliot. It has not worked. The undercut. Marcel Mulich stayed in for longer. So, tactical move from Marcel Mulich. He's still got a 3-second buffer. He'll be happy about that. And Arnie will stay in P2 with 9 minutes to go in this race. You know, we can't be too greedy. We've seen some real cracking racing, haven't we, here this evening? So, you've got to take it and enjoy it. And that is Elliot Lewis. I think Elliot Lewis might be eyeing up a podium here. There's 7.5 minutes to go. He knows that a possibility for P3 is still available here. So just keep your eyes peeled on the Lexus driver, because he will do, the McLaren driver, he will do everything he can to try and get on them top 3 steps. He is starting to lose a little bit of time, but I tell you who's not. Maximilian Virgil, who is bidding for that P2. He's not been able to get past Arnie Brandhorst all race and keep the position. He's had brief spells where he's just edged his nose ahead, but never been able to keep the position. Is he going to finally get that position right when he needs it? We will find out, but he's only got 6.5 minutes to do so. So it's either now or never. And they also need to be mindful of Elliot Lewis behind. So down the pitch straight we go. 6/10 is the gap. Fair play to Ivan Stefanov as well. I just want to say a massive well done, a massive congratulations to Ivan Stefanov. 60 minutes of racing. He's not really been involved in anything, but he's cracked on and got on with it. The same for Dan Quinn as well. A real well done to you, sir. And Rock Stojnek, Alexander Lawler, they've been involved in some real good battles with Thomas Buter and Ducky Duckster. So yeah, well done to all of you guys. So still the podium slots are on, and he's only 2 seconds behind Marcel Mulich here. Who knows what can happen? Remember guys, we are back on Sunday with our F1 tiers. 4 races, 10 AM, 12:30 PM, 3 PM and 7 PM. Tier 1, 2, 3 and 4. We are live in Austria. Then we are back for our multi-class event on Monday. And then realistic F2 and F1 on Wednesday, and then we are back with the Settle Corsa next Friday. A full week of racing again after our Easter break, so make sure you do not miss it. And now the gap is starting to open up. Maximilian Zergel, 1 second behind Arnie Brandhurst. And Elliot Lewis, only 3 tenths is the gap. Is he finally going to get this move done? Here we go, 3 tenths. And he's now starting to put the pressure on. Maybe Maximilian is also feeling it. And he's only 1.7 behind Marcel Mulic. They do have a back marker in between them though. And that is the BMW of, I don't know who that is actually. Is it Alexander Lola? It is Alexander Lola. So down the inside. And this might just hinder some of these drivers. Well done by Alexander Lola there. Great job. We still don't know who's going to be on the podiums here. So stay tuned. You do not want to miss the end of this race. Down the hill towards turn 12 we go. It is Marcel Mulic that leads 2.5 seconds to Arnie Brandhorst. Then Maximilian Zergel 3 tenths behind him. Then 8 tenths is Elliot Lewis in that McLaren. Here we go. This is for P2. Out of turn 14 and down the pit straight we go. I think if my maths is correct, we should have 2 laps remaining. In towards turn 1 we go. Maximilian chasing down Arnie. This is for P2, the number 92 car, just in front of the number 2 car. Elliot Lewis, front row seat to this exchange in front. He wants them to fight. He wants them to battle. He knows if they battle, he has some glimmer of hope of maybe getting the position. Here comes Maximilian Zergel. The gap only 2 tenths of a second. He got the better exit out of turn 5. Around turn 6 and 7 we go. Through the double right-hander, you can see Marcel Mulic just in the distance. These 3 drivers with identical liveries. Out of turn 8, a little slip and a slide from Arnie Brandhurst. Here we go, Maximilian chasing him down the hill and back up again. Through in towards turn 11, around the outside where Maximilian loves to go. But Arnie is so good at defending on the exit. In towards turn 12 at the left-hander. We are going to go on to the final lap. It is now or never for Maximilian. Will he get the better exit? Around turn 12 and 13 we go. The gap, 2.5 tenths. Elliot Lewis waiting for a mistake. Waiting for something to happen in front so he can pick up a podium. Out of turn 14 and down the hill. We've got a huge run up down the pitch straight. We've got a back marker maybe in the way as well. Who knows? I think that might be Thomas Buter. It is Thomas Buter in that M4. So we are on the final lap of this race. And look at Elliot Lewis. Oh, the gap is now 5 tenths to Maximilian. Marcel Mulic with an awesome performance here in Algarve. But still, it is Maximilian Zergel chasing down Arnie Brandhorst for P2. He's running out of time. He's running out of track. Arnie has shown a defensive masterclass display here. Here we go. So up in towards turn 11 and now he's going to go down the inside. Oh, he doesn't make it. Slightly downhill towards turn 12. Was that the opportunity missed? I think it was, and they are going to come up to a back marker of Thomas Buter, who is not going to make it easy. Marcel Mulic with an awesome drive here. And Marcel Mulich will come around turn 14. And the driver that has led from start to finish will come around turn 14, down the pitch straight towards the checkered flag. And Marcel Mulich will take the race victory here in Algarve for round 2. Here comes Elliot. It's a sprint to the line. And he just misses out. Elliot Lewis nearly taking P3 away from Maximilian Zergel, but it's Arnie Brandhorst that takes P2. It is Maximilian that takes P3 and Elliot Lewis in P4. The drivers doing donuts. They had a thrilling Grand Prix. Here comes Alexander Lawler. To the line we go. What a race. So that was a great drive. A real good drive from the drivers. An enjoyable one to watch. A really enjoyable race. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. I cannot wait for the next one. Another 2 weeks till we get back to that. Honestly, maybe we need to do weekly races like the multi-class. But obviously we have a settled course as well. But yeah, really good race that, guys. We'll go through the standings. So, Marcel Mulich takes the race victory. Arnie Brandhorst takes P2. It is Maximilian Zergel that will take P3. It is Elliot Lewis that takes P4 and Dennis Funke in P5. Arthur Woods takes P6 and Maximilian Schimp in P7. Ducky Duster takes P8 and Thomas Buter in P9. Rock Stojnek takes P10 and Alexander Lawler in P11. Dan Quinn takes P12 and Ivan Stefanov in P13. Remember, points do go down to P15. Ben Hornby in P14 and Mato Gubro in P16. Yeah, top race for the Fisher drivers, absolutely, Andy. What a race, what a Grand Prix. But yeah, well done to all of the drivers. Well done to everybody that competed. Thank you all so much for tuning in and watching. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back in 2 weeks. Remember to tune in for our multi-class events on a Monday. They are now going to weekly races. If you do want to be a part of it, exclamation mark Discord in the chat. Come and join the Discord, or just join us, Formula 7 Racing on SimGrid, to be a part of any of our events. We do have a 2-hour of Monza event tomorrow evening, if the numbers are there. If you do want to be a part of that, come and join as well. There is a prize at the end of it. But yeah, thank you all so much, guys. Have a great evening, have a great weekend, and I'll see you on the next one.